Namaste and welcome. I am Pratim Ranjan Bose and you are listening to my podcast Perspective. In this episode, I will share my views on the global silence on the struggle of 13 million Hindu minorities in Bangladesh. While the West stands by the Christian minorities, India by and large denied its moral responsibility to Bangladeshi Hindus. The indifference might have cost Delhi a long term policy handle on Bangladesh. Must tell here that as part of a Hindu family that was once forced to migrate from East Pakistan, which later became Bangladesh, I do have sentiments attached to the subject. Compared to the tensions on the western and the northern borders, India has had a peaceful coexistence with the Muslim majority Bangladesh in the east. That does not mean Dhaka has been an abode of peace, but only that Delhi has found it manageable. Naturally, Bangladesh was always considered friendly, and no one made a bigger sacrifice for this notional quote unquote friendship than Hindus and other Indic religious minorities who have been under constant attack in this part of the world since the religion based partition in 1947. The creation of Bangladesh, marked by India's military intervention in 1971, failed to shift the course. The famed India Mujib Agreement of 1972 did not have a provision for the return of Hindus who fled East Pakistan between 1947 and 1970 to survive the persecution. Independent Bangladesh took 4 decades to repeal the Enemy Property Act, which was later renamed as Vested Properties Act. It was an official tool to chase away Hindus and rob their property since Pakistani rule. In 2011, the incumbent Sheikh Hasina led Awami League government brought out a legal amendment to return the Hindu properties once vested. But that was too little done too late. There have not been many instances of actual return of properties since. In 2018, Professor Abdul Barakat of Dhaka University famously projected that at the current rate of outmigration, there will be no Hindus left in Bangladesh in 30 years. Barakat arrived at his estimates from years of research in agricultural landholding. According to Barakat, from 1964 to 2013, around 11.3 million Hindus fled Bangladesh. The daily rate of outmigration was 512 persons during 1971-1981, 438 during 1981 and 1991, 767 during 1991-2001, and 774 during 2001 and 2012. Bangladesh now has 13 million Hindus, constituting 7.95% of the population, down from 13.5% in 1974. No one knows about the current rate of outmigration of Hindus from Bangladesh. But anyone in the Indian border state of West Bengal can see them coming in hundreds. And considering the recent economic prosperity of Bangladesh, such outmigration is solely a result of religious persecution, which has become all pervasive. Delhi blames the army rulers, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party or BNP, and Islamists led by Bangladesh Jamaat-e-Islami for religious persecution. This narrative has many loopholes and does not hold water anymore. The ruling Awami League, which is set to return to power in January 2024 through another opposition-free election, is equally responsible, if not in policy, then in practice at the grassroots. It is true that Hasina government, which has been in power since 2008, has given space to Hindus in administration. The BNP Jamaat coalition, which ruled the country for 2 5-year terms, was not ready to give even an inch to Hindus. A comparative headcount of Hindu officers in Bangladesh's home and foreign affairs ministries during different rules will prove the point. However, such beneficiaries form a privileged section of the minority community. On the ground, the ruling Army League is at the forefront of persecution and land grabs. That Hindus have no other political force except Army League to rely on, that their vote share is declining, and the League's long stay in power virtually without an election has added to the ooze of the minorities. Hasina came to power by popular mandate in 2008, but since then she has been there by managing the mandate. There was no opposition in the 2014 election. There will not be any contest in 2024 either. The 2018 election was heavily rigged. That takes us to a scary scenario. In the past, Hindus were hated by BNP Jamaat, but the Army League treated them as a constituency. Now, Hindus have no takers. Army League does not need them anymore to win elections. The Hasina government is visibly taking an interest in wooing Islamic forces to earn legitimacy to the majority. In 2016, Bangladesh witnessed a series of targeted killings of Hindu priests. Popularly, staunch Islamist Hefazat-e-Islam, which enjoys the support of madrasa students and teachers, was blamed for the rise of religious atrocity. The next year, in 2017, Hasina cozied up with Hefazat and gave precedence to their Islamic demands in public policy, including in school education. In 2021, Hefazat led violent protests against the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Dhaka visit. Among the public properties damaged were libraries, which were long held as un-Islamic. Some of those who held Hefazat for communalism were arrested. However, Hefazat is less of a problem in the daily life of a common Hindu in Bangladesh. They grew up knowing what and who is to be avoided. Unfortunately for them, the distinctions are getting increasingly blurred. Accusing minorities of blasphemy was not new in 93% Muslim majority Bangladesh. The Digital Security Act of 2020 institutionalized it. A fake social media post in the name of a Hindu and he is ruined. Police will arrest the victim first. In some cases, the police investigation ended up with the Army League activists, but that was long after the damage was done. In the past, the League blamed such incidents on unwarranted elements making their way to the party. Nowadays, veteran leaders of the League openly participate in Hindu bashing even within the party. At a public meeting in October 2023, the mayor of Munsiganj, Haji Muhammad Faisal, referred to party MP Mrinal Kanti Das, who is a Hindu, as Malaun, meaning accursed. This is the most common abuse hurled at Hindus in Bangladesh. But its use in the top ranks of the League was shocking. In the same month, A.K.M. Baharuddin Bahar, a veteran Army League MP from Kumilla, bordering in India's Tripura, equated the biggest Hindu festival of Durga Puja as a festival of alcohol. That was just ahead of the festival. As aggrieved Hindus came out with a protest march, League activists attacked them. Atrocities during Durga Puja are common in Bangladesh. Vandalizing idols and temples is an annual affair. Every year, newspapers report scores of such incidences. Many more go unreported. In 2023 too, there were at least 10 such incidents. Unfortunately, India has allowed such atrocities to be normalized. An Indian mission official in Bangladesh graced this year's Bijaya Sammilani organized by the Kumilla MP Bahar. Bijaya marks the end of the 4-day Durga Puja. Army League gave Bahar a ticket for the 2024 election. The Hindu majority India may not care about Hindus in Bangladesh, but the West never forgets to stand by the Christian minorities, not only in Bangladesh but also in other countries. The 170 million strong Bangladesh has barely 700,000 Christians. According to unofficial information, there are nearly 5,600 churches on or one church for every 125 Christians. However, there are fewer reports of vandalizing churches and or attacks on Christians. The media fraternity in Bangladesh attributes it to the alacrity of the West. Any incidents involving Christianity invites sharp criticism from Western missions, led by the United States. Spot visits by envoys and media attention force the administration to come down heavily on the miscreants. The deterrence factor is so high that Bangladeshi journalists jocularly equate churches to the US mission in terms of their power quotient. In contrast, the Indian mission is selective in highlighting the plight of Bangladeshi Hindus. The Indian mission was visibly active on this front during 2012 and 2017. The momentum was lost since the rigged 2018 election when Hasina returned to power for the third term. Hindus were once again left to fend for themselves. And that takes us to a crucial question. Can India afford to have a strong presence in Bangladesh by dumping its natural ally? The answer is a strict no. Thank you for listening to Perspective. If you like this episode, please share and subscribe. See you next week. फिर मिलेंगे.